Okay, welcome everybody. It's great to see you all. Come in, people that are arriving now, invite you to join, to find a place where to sit. I'm really excited that I can be here with all of you this evening. Those of you who are joining us in person, so grateful we can have you here. Those of you who are joining us virtually, it's amazing that we can do this in a way that people can come in different ways. Okay, great. Rebecca is arriving now. We can really start. We're waiting for Rebecca. Asaf came early, and Rebecca and Catherine then arrived, and now Rebecca is here. Rebecca, come in so we can get started. Maybe. Okay, great. I'm so incredible, excited and moved to be able to be here with all of you and to celebrate in community. It feels like a special celebration. I want to recognize that we hoped that we would be in a different place, in a different way, that by now we would be without masks and felt a little bit even more celebratory. But I just want to recognize the blessing of this moment, the fact that we can be here together in person and also online, virtually, on Zoom or on YouTube. And then we can celebrate our amazing, amazing TBZ community. And we're celebrating the blessings of being in a community that continues to thrive, and that during these last 2.5 years kept growing in amazing ways. In membership, if you are a new member in the last year and a half, raise your hand. Look at the hands there. At home, raise your hand too, so welcome. And we have grown in so many ways and deepened in so many ways, and that is also what we are celebrating. This is also an evening to ensure that we can continue to thrive and to grow. It is a fundraiser. It is an opportunity for us to show that this community is important to us and to support this community. So I'm so grateful of all of you that has so far supported, and we will be talking about that a little bit more later. And it is an opportunity to celebrate all our healers. First of all, the 3 amazing doctors, TBZ members, Dr. Catherine Gergen-Barnett, Dr. Asaf Biton, and Dr. Rebecca Weintraub, who really helped us in amazing ways these last 2.5 years, and you'll hear a little bit more about that later too. And also all first responders, frontline and essential workers that have cared for us, for the communities around us, for the communities they belong, and communities all over, all the healers that have really had to give so much of themselves, of their time, of their effort, of their work during this pandemic. So. And music brings us together. We know that at TBZ. And music heals our soul. And when we were trying to think about what are the best ways to have this celebration, we were like, we want to celebrate the healing power of music. And then when we thought, what music has sustained us so much these last couple of years, we said, the music of Batya Levin. Earlier, I'm not used to, like, I'm during Shabbat services, you don't applaud every time I speak. This is pretty cool. Earlier when Batya, Richie, Ali, and Anat were rehearsing, Larry made the comment and he said, oh, they're singing our music. And I said, no, Larry, we sing her music. So it is with that excitement that I invite to sing, to bring us the healing power of music, to help us, lift us in singing Batya Levin with Richie Barshai, Ali Halpert, and Anat Alevi Ochberg. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you, Rev Claudia. So beautiful. Wow, hi everybody. It's so good to be here. If tonight we're gonna do some singing together. Shocker. So if anybody wants to come fill in some of the closer seats so we can really feel each other, if you feel up for this holy task of bringing us closer together, I'm gonna invite. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having us tonight. It was such a pleasure to receive this invitation, and I feel so grateful to be joined tonight by my wonderful musical collaborators and comrades, and you all, because we're really all going to be singing together tonight. So I'll say a little more, but to start out, let's just sing. We're going to sing a Nigun for a little while to land and take this time to just land in yourself and in this space and in this room in the ways that you need. Thank you for singing. You can let that just soak in. You could take a breath together. So that's really what we're here to do tonight together. Just some more of that. There's a teaching that I am gonna look up the source for after tonight, but that I heard one time somewhere in Jewish text um, of the power of one voice joining another, of that if you're singing alone, there is power and connection in that, and when another voice joins, it not only just means that there's two voices, it actually strengthens and bolsters and supports the first voice, and that's what we're going to get to do, both the people here in person and the people who are joining us virtually, adding your energy and your voices and your presence, all of us here tonight. And I'll just introduce myself. I'm Batya. Would you say your name?
Hi, I'm Richie.
I'm Allie. Hi.
I'm Annette.
And it's special to get to do this with these folks in particular, who also each carry this way of singing and being in the world. So yeah, I mean that's that's really all that I have to say. I could keep talking, but essentially that is how we support each other and let music get inside of our bodies and into our spirits. And we'll get to just do a bit of that in celebration and in honoring of the grief that also has been. And that in the celebration, in the coming together, we are also holding that, and that is very welcome and a part of what we're doing here too. So this next song we are gonna sing is called Karov, and the liturgy for this song comes from Psalms 145, and the words are Karov Hashem l'chol karav l'chol asher yikra'uhu ve'emet. That Hashem, the divine presence, is close to all those who call out to them in truth. From our places of loneliness, from our places of isolation, from our places of yearning, we call out for what we want, for what we're yearning for presence, for truth, and sometimes there is a divine holding that we are able to feel and presence that we are able to be with when that happens. So just inviting that for this song. And just to say, for any of these songs, you can sing along whenever you feel moved. Karov Hashem l'chol korav l'chol asher yikrahu ve'emet. Karov Hashem l'chol korav l'chol Thank you. It's really special feeling everyone just letting the song kind of sit and settle in. Um, we're here. It's really nice, and yeah, special also just how many moments I've experienced musical power and blessing in this room. It feels very special to be back here. Thank you. Next, we are going to move into some praise energy, because we are also here to celebrate. And this liturgy comes from Hallel, from the collection of psalms that we say on special holidays, and it's really just a gratitude song that thank God that God's loving kindness, God's chesed, Hashem's chesed is eternal. How amazing! What a relief! Yeah. All right, and feel free to like clap along, move your body. If you catch some of it, roll with it. Oh. We're doing
Oh, that's good. Let's take a different one.
הודו לאדוני כי טוב, כי לעולם חסדו. הודו לאדוני כי טוב, כי לעולם חסדו. יאמר נא ישראל, כי לעולם חסדו. הודו לאדוני כי טוב, כי לעולם חסדו. כי לעולם חסדו. יאמרו נא ירא אדוני, כי לעולם חסדו. הודו לאדוני כי טוב, כי לעולם חסדו. אמרו נא בית אהרון, כי לעולם חסדו. הודו לאדוני כי טוב, כי לעולם חסדו. כי לעולם חסדו.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna go right into the next one. It's very different energy, but I feel like that's part of the thing. It's like life right now. It's just ups and downs, and we're here for all of it. And so, really, just grateful to get to ride these waves with you all here tonight. We are good, we are flowing, imperfect God. I, I, oh, we are good. We are flawed. We are the breath of an imperfect God. We are good. We are flawed. We are the breath of an imperfect God. I'm going to teach you a song now, one that you may not know of mine. It's newer, and it was on a collaborative album for Shemitah that Ali and Anat were both a part of, called Shirei Shemitah. You can check it out. Shemitah is a year where we let the land lay fallow and we release debts. And this song is about releasing and letting go. So it's 3 parts. They all layer over each other. I will teach you all the first 2, and we'll take it from there. Okay. Repeat after me. Breathe, breathe, breathe in. Try that. Breathe, breathe, breathe in. Breathe, breathe out. Breathe, breathe out. Breathe, breathe, breathe in. Breathe, breathe, breathe in. Breathe, breathe out. Breathe, breathe out. Beautiful. Let's try that all together a little bit. Breathe, breathe, breathe in. Breathe, breathe out. Breathe, breathe, breathe in. Breathe, breathe out. How do you feel about that part? You feel like you got it? Yeah, awesome. Okay. Second part goes like this. I'm going to just sing it once so you can hear it. Let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. Let it go, let it go, let just goes down the second time? Cool. It sounds like you're starting to catch it. Maybe we just sing it a few times together. Let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. Yeah, so that part is let it go. Try that. Let it go. Beautiful. Let it go. 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 Nice. Now second it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Again. Let it go. 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 Beautiful. So we'll sing through starting with breathe, and you can just stick on that if you want, and stay there. You can move to the second part. And the third part, just so you know, the words are trust in what's coming, trust in your knowing. It's deeper and wider and holy. And this song is really about letting go and trusting in something that is not yet seen or known or available or guaranteed in any sort of way. But sometimes we have to let go to make space for that which we hope and trust and want to believe is coming. And that takes a certain type of faith. Okay. Breathe, breathe, breathe in. Breathe, breathe out. Breathe, breathe, breathe in. Breathe, breathe out. Trust in your knowing.
Let it go.
It's deeper and wider and holy.
Let it go.
Trust in what's coming.
Let
Trust in your knowing.
Let it go.
It's deeper and wider and holy.
Breathe.
Trust in what's coming.
Breathe.
Trust in your knowing.
Breathe.
It's deeper and wider and holy.
Breathe.
Trust in what's coming. Trust in your knowing. It's deeper and wider and holy. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe, breathe, breathe in. Breathe, breathe out. Thank you. So beautiful. Feel free to shake it out a little bit if you want. Yeah. This next one is one that feels sweet to get to sing here because I have heard and also experienced this Lechadodi here at TBZ, which was also very special for me to enter a space and have this song so beautifully sung here. And I feel grateful for, I feel like songs just really have their own lives, and I feel that you all really nurture the life of this song, so thank you. Thank you, thank you. We're gonna just do one more for you all. This is another Shabbos song because we love Shabbos, we love Shabbat here. And that's so much also of what this community of the places of healing and music and power in this community live in Shabbat. So this is a song that says that Yismechu v'malchuscha shomer Shabbos v'korei oneg in my Ashkenazis way of saying it, but that really that those who make a delight and a celebration of Shabbos will be called those who delight in your majesty, those who are guard Shabbat, keep it, and call it an oneg, call it a celebration, a joy, a delight, a soft, pliable entity. Yismechu v'malchuscha shomerei Shabbos v'korei oneg. Yismechu v'malchuscha shomerei Shabbos v'korei oneg. Korei, 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 oneg, korei, 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 Shabbos v'korei oneg. Yismechu v'malchus v'shomerei Shabbos v'korei oneg. Korei, 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 oneg, korei, shomerei Shabbos v'korei oneg. Yismechu v'malchus v'shomerei Shabbos v'korei oneg. Korei, 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 oneg, korei, korei, Thank you so much.
what I know you're waiting for, so just wait. Here it is. Okay, so I'm just so incredibly grateful again to Batia and to Richie and to Ali and Anat for being here. Thank you so much. And as I say before, we are celebrating our healers. I also want to recognize so many of our lay leadership that have sustained us during these 2.5 years. Our board members, committee chairs, anyone that has really given of their time to TBZ. So if you're a board member, please rise. If you're at home and you're a board member, rise too. I might see you. Thank you. And there is one board member who I sometimes text a few times a day. That's okay, right? And who has so many hats in our community. And today I'm inviting him with one of those hats. I'm inviting Larry Krause, as who has been the amazing chair of the Reentry Committee. I don't know if he chose to be that. Sarah and I made him that. Sarah was the president, and we were like, okay, Larry, you're doing this. And we had no idea what this COVID thing was going to be. Maybe he thought he was volunteering for a 2-month thing. And here it is, Larry Krause, who has really done an amazing job. He and I have become experts in all COVID-related things. Not really. Okay, here's your mic.
Hello. Hey. Wow. What an amazing music. I think those sounds are going to stay in this place for a long time, and they're just going to settle in, and it's going to be part of what we carry through with us as we spend more time here. It's amazing to think how much we've gone through for the past, how much we've gone through and how many changes we've made over the past 2 years, from closing the shul at an emergency board meeting, to moving all services to Zoom, to our first high holidays completely remote, to coming back into the building but sitting in pre-arranged pods very far away from each other. 2 over there, it's like going to a fancy restaurant. We got 2 there, we can sit a 3 over there. From going to masks required, to masks optional, to masks required, and then to balancing our multi-access approach as we continue to navigate the changes in all these that we have with the virus. So before I get to our 3 doctor honorees, let me add on to what Rav Claudio is saying, and first make my apologies, because I'm sure I'm going to inadvertently omit some important people, but let me give quick shout outs to Rav Claudia for all of her leadership. To Susan Diller for an extraordinary amount of support, work, and leadership. To the members of the Reentry Committee, even though we didn't meet very often, which is not such a bad thing for a committee, I know I reached out to each of you at important points for your guidance and your insight and your expertise. So thank you to Lenny Marcus and Shoshana Kornmeyer and Sue Brent and Daniel Langenthal and Jack Daniels and Susan Farber and Rav Teferet. And again, apologies for those people who I'm inadvertently leaving out. Give them a round of applause. There we go. I want to also acknowledge and give thanks to the people who chose and install our, what do we call them, Asaf? What's the fans? Well, they are big ass. Yeah. I wasn't even going for the big ass fans. I was going for, what's the technology? Oh yeah, there you go. The UV light fans. Yeah. So thank you to Jill Feblowitz, to Jack Daniels, to Alan Leviton, and to Ken Wexler for making our space probably one of the safer spaces in Boston. Really, this is a safe space. And thank you to the leadership of the board. Thank you to the leadership of the former president, Ms. Mullover. Thank you to the leadership of Carol Kamen, our current president. And with no further ado, let me call up our three honorees, our three principal honorees, our three named honorees, Dr. Catherine Gergen Barnett, Dr. Asaf Biton, Dr. Rebecca Weintraub. See how that works? Look what I just did. So let me just spend a couple of minutes to appreciate you. Each of you is so accomplished, and the details of some of your professional credentials and accomplishments are in the programs, so I'm not going to repeat everything. But I am going to just say a few highlights just so we put everybody in context. Catherine, just really feeling and recognizing you for your leadership at what I think is a uniquely important institution in our city, Boston Medical Center, and for your newspaper articles and your radio appearances, which look to explain public health issues and very clearly and with an important perspective that I don't think we get very much. Like I said, these are only little snippets to Asaf for your public health leadership with Ariadne Labs and at the Chan School of Public Health, and for your direct patient care at Brigham and Women's Hospital, recognizing you and holding you there as well. And Rebecca, for really what I consider to be your epidemiological expertise, and also especially your focus on global health issues and global health equity. Really, when we got enough equity issues we got to deal with in this country, and you're focused on those as your colleagues, but also focused in a global lens. And I really appreciate it and recognize it. Through the Division of Global Health Equity of Brigham and Women's Hospital, and the founding director of the Global Health Delivery Project at Harvard University. So if we just had the benefit of your spectacular professional skills and expertise, Dayenu, it would have been enough. We would have been blessed as we navigated the medical, epidemiological, and public health dimensions of gathering in person during a pandemic. But the real blessing we have had from each of you is that you and your families are long-standing members of TBZ and of our community. So you know us because you are us. And you've celebrated your simchas here, your life cycle events, you've gone through your life challenges here at TBZ, and you contribute to and you build the spirit and intentionality at TBZ. So that's critical, because we're not just doing science here. I mean, we do follow the science, that's the first step. But it's critical that we balance the science with the intentionality to make decisions that work for our community. So it's being inclusive of our entire community. There were times when the science was saying, okay, I think it's time to take off or go mask optional, but we kept the masks in place longer because some members of our community have different risks, higher risks, different challenges. We are continually aware that as we go mask optional, there's a group of our community that can't be vaccinated yet, and we're aware of the challenges that puts in for them, but also for their parents. And it's the combination of the medical expertise and the community heart that is irreplaceable and invaluable. And one last thing for me personally, you've just been great teammates, which is one of the things that what do you need? What do you need from a colleague? You need a great teammate. So you've been generous with your time when there have been so many demands on your time. You've been patient in explaining complicated science when the virus and the science keeps changing and when we're doing this real time. You've been responsive to calls and texts and emails when you really need to balance your work and your family lives as well. So you have been great blessings to our community, and I want to express our great appreciation and thanks personally from me to each of you, and on behalf of the entire TBZ community, Yesher Koach. And these are certificates of your bar mitzvahs. They're just bigger. Thank you guys so much. So do they have time to speak or what's it? They're speaking. Oh, they're speaking. So you each get one of these.
1 minute.
Thank you, Larry. Well, thank you very much. So first of all, and you know, Catherine, Rebecca, and I talked about it before. We're mere vessels on behalf of a much, much wider community of caregivers, of healers, of health professionals that are in this community and beyond. So while we are grateful to you and to TBZ for this, the thanks is really, it goes this way. You know, in March 2020, when this happened, and through the sort of undulating waves, one of the many, many hard things has been, as healers and as public health professionals, we have to sort of hold multiple truths up at the same time. And these ideas that we rush into these strange, dangerous situations, especially at the beginning when we didn't really know what was going on, and when all that stood between us and a virus were little flimsy and not prevalent enough masks and PPE. And then we were lucky, and Batya sang about it, to sort of trust in, and we held that trust in something, the deliverance of something coming, and the deliverance of therapeutics and vaccines and science and community solidarity, which, you know, has not always been perfect, but mostly, especially in this community, has been such a gift and a blessing. And we realized in that process that we both rushed into healing, but also as public health professionals, and this was hard, and we talked about this a lot. We were sort of architects of forced disconnection, or as my kids called me, sort of COVID police, you know? And we didn't really want to do that, obviously, and wanted to figure out what the right modulation is between the disconnection that was needed to sort of not have a horrible pandemic spread through our community, our literal community here. So disconnect some of the core features of Jewish spiritual life and community life, but then figure out, as we disconnected, how to reconnect. Because in this time of fear and darkness and sadness and horrendous grief and loss, that disconnection had an antidote, which was reconnection, and reconnection safely through community, through friendship, through family. And so I guess, to me, what I would want to share is that it's been our privilege to try to balance all these sort of crazy factors, including fans and masks and ventilation, and utilize all the help we could get from all the science and friends we could find to help reconnect safely this community. And in our public work, you know, try to cajole and influence and change policy to make a sort of safe grounds for resuming life, for holding that loss that we've all faced and moving forward. And I just feel really lucky to be in a community like this, where the goal has always been, actually right now, like this, to use the healing power of music. And I just really want to thank Batya and your group. Many nights, I'm a walker. I love to walk around, and your music, and for me, not just me, but for many of us, was really a balm as we went through those dark nights. So thank you, and thank you to the community for showing again what the power is of connection. And we're just really lucky to try to help use our skills or what we know to try to reconnect faster and better. So thanks.
I'll just add a few very brief words. Thank you, Asaf, for opening us up. I really mean it very deeply. I think all of us do, in thanking each of you, every single person in this room, every single person on Zoom. I think that so much of what we have learned and relearned over the last several years is we cannot do anything without trusting each other. And the amount of trust that our community has placed in us, and simultaneously the amount that we have all placed in each other, has been extraordinary. And so I just want to take a deep bow of gratitude for that. And so I would like everybody to give an applause for that. I will also just say, Batya, your music, I'm a runner, has led me on so many paths, and I have wept to your music so many times, and also rejoiced and been just had chills. And so may we continue to be opened, our hearts truly opened to the healing power of music and connecting voices in solidarity, whether it be through music or speaking up for what is right in this increasingly unclear world that we live in. And then the last thing I would just say is, this morning I was reminded of one of my favorite poems, The Guest House by Rumi, and thinking about how we continue to be in this guest house where there's so many strangers who walk in every day, and we don't know who is gonna walk in, whether it be fear or anger or joy or loneliness or another wave of COVID-19. And may we continue to strengthen each other and our amazing leadership so that we are okay no matter what walks in our doors. So thank you.
Well, yes, and it's kind of how we start off our family meals. I do want to start with Batya. I met Batya at Shabbat Naria, 5 or 6 years ago. She lives in our neighborhood in Jamaica Plain, and I was awestruck and just stopped in my tracks. And I think I've listened to her music every day of the pandemic. Having you in our presence when we've been listening to you, actively listening to your messages, the melodies, is just so healing. Thank you so much for your art form. And it reminds me that I think in the midst of us trying to eradicate a virus, mitigate the risks of a virus, we need melodies, we need beauty, we need art. And I am so grateful to this TBZ community for ensuring that we think through, how do we see color again? How do we hear the melodies again? How do we interface with each other in a communal way so that beauty becomes part of our lives again? And I'll just share in my home base that far and away, two of my most prolific artists have definitely stewarded me through this pandemic. So Raphael and Ezra, thank you for your art and your music that I hear in our home every day. And I am just so grateful. 18 years ago, we were on the steps of TBZ, Claudia, and I never would have believed we would have gone through a pandemic. We'd be wearing masks, we'd be putting masks back on, we'd be selling bar and bat mitzvot here, and just so grateful to be part of this beautiful community of artists and healers.
They are the same. It's the traditional prayer of to the doctor that is to put in your homes, so you have the blessings and the prayer for the healers. So Larry, don't go. You guys can go. Larry, don't go, don't go, don't go. I wanted to celebrate Larry also with some gifts here for Larry. Here's some flowers for you. I know him. Actually, Sarah knows him. Talking about mitigation is, I'm not going to be hugging anyone today or getting too close because, as many of you know, Alma is on day 4 of quarantine with COVID-19. She's doing a little bit better. Have tested twice a day, so I'm good. Anxious, but good. So when after you want to hug me, I'll just stay distance of all of you. And this is where I want to take a moment to recognize all the frontline and essential workers that has been part of our community. And we did our best to name most, if not all. Some of you, we asked you to email your name if you were one of them, frontline workers, healthcare professionals, mental health professionals, essential workers. Then I went through the membership list and recognized that there were some that were not, did not email their names, and we made a list. If you are at home, Mike is making sure to put the program in the chat so you can go. If your name is not here, we apologize, and if you would like to be recognized, let us know, and we will put it in the next happenings. I'm not going to read all these names, but if you are a frontline worker, a healthcare professional, a mental health professional, essential worker, please rise for a moment. We just want to thank you. Stay standing. Stay standing, stay standing. Stay standing for a second. Also at home, stay standing for a second. So I was trying to think how I wanted to bless you. So you guys three too, you two, Catherine, Rebecca, and Asaf too, stand up for a second. I want you to close your eyes for a sec. And instead of giving you a blessing, I'm going to actually read a prayer that a healer says. And then if you want it, I'll just make a copy for you and give it to you. But it's a healer prayer for physicians and for all healers. And I'm giving you this prayer as a gift that you can hold this prayer with you at all times. It's by Rabbi Naomi Levy. Open my eyes, God. Let not symptom of illness elude me. Steady my hands, God. Shield me from fear, anxiety, and impatience. Teach me to breathe deeply, to find peace, calm, and clarity in even the most stressful situations. Open my heart, God. Remind me that my compassion is as essential as my precision. Open my mind, God. Shelter me from distraction. Bless me with insight, curiosity, and the humility to ask for help. Open my arms, God. Remind me that even when I have no cure to offer, precious healing resides in the touch of my hands. Open my mouth, God. Place wisdom on my tongue. Bless me with words that are clear and kind, honest and encouraging. Open my ears, God. Teach me to listen with my entire being. When I am overwhelmed and exhausted, when I feel as if I have no more to give, be my strength, God. Renew my spirit. Revive my soul. I'm humbled by the miracles that unfold before me each day. Miracles of nature, miracles of medicines, miracles of the human spirit, miracles that lie beyond my comprehension. I thank you, God, for entrusting me with this sacred calling. Amen. So thank you to all of you, really. Thank you. And I'm going to now invite Carol Kamen, TBZ president. We are almost at the end, I promise. We are almost at the end of the program.
It's on now, yes. Well, keeping with the Batya Levine theme, in hope and in prayer, we are right here. And we've had spirit to guide us, the spirit of Rav Claudia, the spirit of Rav Tiferet, who, by the way, everybody here should know that Rav Tiferet on Friday signed a 5-year contract. And the wonderful, fabulous TBZ staff. I see Susan Diller in the back. And most of all, our members, people like Catherine, Rebecca, and Asaf, who have all helped us reconnect and helped us get through so much of this very, very difficult time. We want to keep the spirit not just alive, we have it alive, but we want our spirit to keep growing even stronger and bolder at TBZ. And we need everyone's financial help. And thank you so much to, I'm doing the ask now. It's my job. I want to thank all of you who have already contributed. Our goal for this event was $50,000, and with hope and prayer, we are almost there. As of this moment, we have raised $46,000. And I have a wonderful announcement to make. We have a pledge from a most generous member that they will match $4,000 if we raise another $4,000. So, let's do it. Let's exceed our goal. We need the money. We do want to be bold. We do want to grow. And you can donate now. These cards, these wonderful cards on the back, there you can scan to donate via Venmo, although I'm told we would much prefer to scan to donate via Shul Cloud, which is the QR code on the back. Or you can just do the old-fashioned way and put your name down and the amount, and when you leave, Sue Khan will be in the back with a little basket. So that's my pitch. And I want to thank every one of you for being here and for helping to ensure TBZ's spirit. And no one embodies more TBZ's spirit than our own Rav Claudia.
So thank you, Carol. So I want to thank you again all for being here, tell you what's happening right now. After the last song, that will be in a moment, I'm going to invite those of you who are here in person. Maybe one day Zoom people will figure out how we can send you a l'chaim through the computer, but not yet. There is l'chaim downstairs. People are invited to have it, just a little, some snack, and we can do a l'chaim together, reminding you our COVID guidelines right now, but keep your mask while you serve your food and just take it while you eat, or if better for you, it's not cold outside at all, we can schmooze outside with the l'chaim. And with that, I want to thank our corporate sponsors, Commercial Cleaning, Eastern Bank, Omni, Team Signal, Beckwith and Brown, and last but not least, which they're giving our l'chaim today as a donation, or a catering, Edna. So thank you to all of our sponsors. I want to also thank all the people that helped this evening happen. You can see it in the back of your program. I want to recognize one person who I think is having FOMO, even though he's at a wedding. Noah Weinberg couldn't be here because it is the wedding of another musician friend of TBZ, Zach, and he has been texting me. He's sending me a picture of the wedding, and I'm sending pictures of here. And Noah is the one that introduces to you, to your music, Batya. Noah introduced me to Anat the first time, so it is really amazing and Noah worked behind the scenes to work with John to make sure that we had good sound for tonight. Thank you, John. John is now a part of our TBZ community. He did our first High Holidays virtual. He was the guy that make sure that we could be in your homes. He also did the Neila in the park, so John has been working with us. Micah Kraus in the back, making sure everything is on Zoom. And last but not least, the co-chairs of this evening, Sarah Fendrick, who couldn't be here tonight because she's at the graduation of her daughter. Sarah Fendrick, for Sarah. And Beth Harris, that finally tested negative and could be here. And with that, we rise. Guys, woo! Oh, it wasn't if you want to rise. They know. Whenever I say we rise, you rise. Okay. If you are able to rise, or rise as you are able.
Yeah,
We
you can
rise.
and embody your
It's
spirit
TBZ. We rise.
as you please. Thank you. So grateful to be with you all tonight. We rise, humbly hearted, rise, won't be divided, rise, with spirit to guide us, rise. In prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here. In hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here, and we rise. All of the children rise. Elders with wisdom rise. Ancestors surround us, rise. In hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here. In hope, in prayer,
thank you all for being here. If you want some of Batia's music, art, Ali's music, anybody sells music, Batia and Ali's music, you can purchase them there and join us dancers for a